And we're live. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Shay Ali here with you on Inspired Online. And today, my beautiful guest is the lovely Ivy Kwong. Now, Ivy is out in Seattle at the moment. So we're talking to our friends across the pond today, obviously. But what can I tell you about Ivy? She's got an incredible bio. Working with relationships, family therapist, qualified in all sorts of things and doing speaking, writing, inspiring people all over the world. I know you've been on TEDx stages as well. But, you know, Ivy is also one of my dear sisters around the world. I just love this girl. And, you know, one of the things that first shines through when you meet Ivy is she's someone that really knows how to light up a room. So when you see this big crowd of people and this bright, sparkling light that everyone wants to talk to, that'll be Ivy. Probably making someone laugh or changing someone's life. So, you know, it's a real honor and a pleasure not only to welcome you today, but to have you as part of my life as well. So welcome.
Shay, love you.
And I know when you did Inspired in London, like they all went nuts. Everyone was like, wow, who is this girl? Can we write about her? so very, very popular. I know that. Now, so you know the drill. But for the online format, we are asking if you had to share your wisdom in the world with the world in a nutshell, what is it that you would say?
I never plan or prepare for these things. It's just like
And
whatever
that's
comes up in the moment.
great. Someone asked this question earlier, and I think, you know, just speaking from the heart and is awesome, which I know you do.
Yeah. So what's coming up right now and what's been happening is living in a space of the unknown.
Mm.
And literally at this point, not knowing what will happen tomorrow or next week. In the I'm someone who's needed to plan everything, control everything, have everything planned out and scheduled so that I would know what was coming. And at this point in time, there's just no way to know.
Right.
So, what do you do when you are in a space of the unknown?
Mm.
And I think that first, for some people, there might be a bit of anxiety and depression that comes up.
Yeah.
And anxiety happens when you to worry or wonder about things that haven't happened yet, that may or may not happen, but are not happening now. And depression tends to happen when we get stuck in the past, ruminating things that we wish could have changed or could have been different, but it's the past.
Mm.
And so really all that we ever have and all that's ever real is the present and is this moment and is coming into the here and the now. And so what's interesting is when you stay in the space of the now, you can discover what is here and what is meant for you, which is maybe not what you would have planned, but what is. And so if you're open to it, I'd love to take you through an experience. Maybe everyone who's watching could try this.
Yeah, I'd
And
love that, please.
okay, like let's get interactive. Why not?
Yeah, love it.
Okay. So there's a really quick exercise to help you get into this moment right here, right now. So if right now you're watching this kind of multitasking or doing other things and thinking about the future, thinking about the past, one way to get you grounded right here is look around and name 5 things that you see. So what are 5 things that you can see right now? Just name them out loud.
A tree, um,
Tree,
a game of chess, uh,
chest,
some law books.
law
Um,
books. Mm-hmm.
just looking around my room, my tripod, and uh, I'll share something very bizarre. 3 Greek statues there: Athena, Aphrodite, and Victory.
Tripod and 3 Greek statues. I love it. So you've named 5 things you can literally see around you. Now everyone else who's watching, try this as well. Now really quickly, 4 things you can physically touch.
My couch,
1,
my phone, uh,
2,
the thing that my computer's resting on right now.
Good. 3.
My computer itself.
4. Perfect. 4 things that you actually
Okay.
can physically touch. And now, finally, the last one is 3 things that you can hear. What are 3 things you can hear if you get really quiet and really still?
The birds. There looks like there's some transport noise. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. There's some human voices. I think maybe the neighbours playing in the garden.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
above and beyond. So 3 things you can hear. You just did that so beautifully. And just everyone, just maybe you're hearing me and Shay as you're hearing this, but named all of those things. You're here back now with what's real and what's present in this moment.
Mm.
And I want to just have you take a moment to feel into what is the next best thing that's arising for me right now. The next best thing I do, the next best I am open to feeling, the next best thing that's open to being revealed in this moment.
Mm. Do I have to answer that, or am I just?
You are welcome to if something came up for you in this moment. One who's watching can feel into what the next best thing is for you. Just as it arises, observe and allow whatever comes up. Maybe an image, a word, a person, a memory,
Um,
a
well,
color. Mm.
well, for me, what comes up is this time as a cocoon, so, or a chrysalis,
Mm.
you know. So,
Mm.
just like the little caterpillar prepares to be butterfly in a little, I'm sure, very safe chrysalis space,
Mhm.
we're being given this time to prepare to hit the world again, in whatever way you choose
Anew.
that to be. Mhm.
Thank you, Shay. That's beautiful that that's what came up for you. I mean, the truth in you that saw and that felt this time as a cocoon, as an invitation to go inward, as an invitation to maybe dissolve parts of you that have been that perhaps are not in your highest and greatest good in order to build what is, and then to be able to merge as that butterfly,
Mm.
new and different, as this world emerges new and different. And
Mm.
how can you be brighter and more of you in
Mm.
this space?
Mm.
And so thank you for sharing that. I love that that's what came up and came through. And when you allowed yourself to be in that space of quiet and what revealed to us, and what may not again be what you planned, but it's what's coming up. And so this is something really quick, really easy that you can do literally at any point in time. And you may do it multiple times in a day. If you find yourself kind of spiraling and going to the past or worrying about the future, if you can bring yourself back to the now, 5 things that you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, and what is the next best thing that wants to be shown to me right now, allow yourself to be surprised. This
Mm.
is the only way it can be, because when you're in a space of the unknown, you don't know what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
again, things that arise in that space are beyond anything that you could even plan or imagine.
Mm.
And so there's deep wisdom there that's available for you. And if you can be with it, open yourself up to it and hear it and listen to it, there are some incredible
Yeah.
in the process.
That's
So
really
I know
beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to just ask a slightly different take on that. And I think I maybe know the answer to this, but I know amongst the many things you've done, you've also written a children's book. And
that.
how do we get our kids to be more present right now? Because a lot of people are surrounded by their kids and they're going wild, possibly.
Yes.
They were only just allowed out yesterday. So, what can we do?
And now they're children who are in the unknown. A lot of parents and for the kids. So, oh, I think we lost you, Shay. Hi.
We did. Hopefully, we're still broadcasting and or recording. I think we are.
Okay. Yeah, I was just sharing how important it is to have compassion, empathy for yourself and your children. There may be some upticks and some behavioral frustrations because the children are going to take a little bit of time to adjust. A couple things you can do for your children. Number one is to have as much structure and safety as possible. And so I know right now, how do you have structure in a time where, what is time? What is form? What is shape? And
Yeah.
with children, it's so important to have structure for them if at all possible. So this time we wake up, this time we do this time we do that. Children feel safe when there's structure. And if we first of all, if we as adults can stay in ourselves, that's one thing. And then offering them structure is another. And so I really invite you, if possible, to spend 15 minutes per day, if you can 30, but 15 minutes if you can, of structured time to be with your children, to share, like to literally ask them. There are feelings charts out there online you can download to ask them, like, how are you feeling right now? And to let them point to the face and to let them point the picture. I'm feeling scared right now. I'm feeling frustrated right now. I'm feeling angry right now. Okay. And just letting them, and then how would this be if the feeling could move, what would the feeling do? And let the children like, I'm angry, and like maybe they're stomping up and down, or I'm scared, and what would that look like? Again, sometimes children, depending on their age, don't have the words, the vernacular. This is helpful for adults too. I mean, for any age, but for children especially, how do you feel right now? And there can be I'm feeling, they might not be able to say the word of the feeling, but they might be able to show you what it looks like. And to let them be as they are, and to them be like, yep, I see that. That feels scary. That feels like you want to curl up right now. What do you need right now? What do you want right now? And letting them offer, I want to curl up with my blankies. I want to be with my stuffed animals. I want to hug, and just offering them these things for them and to hear what they need, and then to be able to give them what it is they're asking for, comfort, support in that moment. So if you can even take 15 minutes or even 5, just to really give your children a space to be witnessed in what they're feeling, to feel what they're feeling, to get what they need, that can be really helpful for everybody.
Yeah. And for those of us that don't have children, we all have an inner child, which I know you're very passionate about as well.
Absolutely. Take 5 minutes a day for those with or without children to check in with your inner child. How are you feeling right now? What do you need right now? And then to listen, because you might be surprised at what you hear.
So how do you check in with your inner child? Because not everybody will be familiar with even that concept, let alone, how to speak to this little inner person that's in you. So what would you say to them if you've never done that before?
So inner child work involves checking in with your precious little 5, 6, 7-year-old self. And they're all the parts of you that have ever been you inside of you. So there's still the infant you in you, the 10-year-old, the 15-year-old. And so a lot of the work can be done with that 5, 6, 7-year-old. If you can take a moment and just picture yourself at that age. What are you wearing? What is your hair like? What do you look like? And just kind of really feeling into that younger version of you. And if you can just connect to this image, to this feeling, to this memory of you, and that little you who maybe didn't get what you needed at that time and wasn't able to, but you can give them what they need now, because you as adult you can give yourself that now. So what I do is I kind of just take a breath in, get really still, picture my little self. For me, it's always me like in a little birthday dress with little pigtails. And I check in with my little Ivy and I'm like, hey, little Ivy, like, how are you feeling today? And sometimes she'll like look at me, and this is all just in a meditation. This is all in a visual. And sometimes I'll hear something. I remember sometimes I take her on walks. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go on a walk. And I usually take my phone with me as well. I remember one time I was doing this and I was in the car. I was like, okay, here we go. And I felt this feeling of like, leave your phone in the car. And I was like, all right. I don't question things when I get these, when my intuition comes up, when little Ivy's speaking, whatever it is. But I'm like, okay, I'll leave my phone in my car. And leaving my phone in my car, I wasn't checking it. I was just being really present. And I was like, okay, I'm hearing things, I'm feeling things. And it's interesting because I always take this path kind of through the woods. And as I started walking in, I paused and there's a deer. There's like a little family of deer there. And I was really quiet and really still. I could feel my like little Ivy, like, oh my gosh, deer, just so excited. It was such a beautiful moment to share with all these versions of myself, to be present instead of looking down at my phone.
Yeah.
And that never would have happened had I not left my phone in the car. And so these little moments of checking in, and sometimes there's a feeling of curiosity and wonder. Sometimes there's a feeling of, hey, I'm feeling really upset or sad or stressed about something. I don't like that person that's in your life right now. They make me feel unsafe, and it's exploring that feeling.
Yes.
So with inner child work, you can learn more about you as you have been and as you are now. And a
Mm.
lot from the past can actually be healed if you take the time to check in with you and your little you now.
Lovely. Oh, you mentioned something quite interesting. You said, sometimes your inner child will tell you that someone is unsafe. Now,
Mm,
you and I both know we don't always listen to that. What do you do when you
mm.
get an intuition like that? Because, it might be really hard to actually cut someone off that you have, had spent time with, let's say. What would you do?
Mhm. Sure. So we can be drawn to different people in our lives for different reasons.
Mm,
And many times we are drawn to people who remind us of people in the past who we wanted to change or fix, or who we want something different from. My work is in specializing healing codependency. And
yes.
so this can be many times romantically, it shows up as if you had a father who was not available emotionally, if you had
Mm,
someone, maybe a parent who's very angry, you might be drawn to someone who is
mm,
not emotionally available or who is very angry. And there's a hope that if I love this person enough, if I try hard enough for this person, if I do enough to get this person to love me and show me that I'm loving, worth loving and worthy of that, then I
mm,
can heal my historical childhood parent through this new person. And it
mm.
may not be good for us, even if it feels familiar, even if it feels like home. So often what feels familiar and like home can actually not be a very safe place, but
Yeah.
it's all what we've known and all that we're used to. So if you start doing some healing work, and if it starts coming up, I don't think this person is a safe person for me to be around. I don't think that this is a good person for me to spend my time, my life force, my energy into. But I've
Mm,
already poured so much time into them. I've already spent so much effort investing into them. And there's a quote that I love that's, just because you can tolerate a lot of suffering, it doesn't mean that you have to keep tolerating that degree of suffering. Just because you
yes.
can doesn't mean you have to. And if you reach a point where you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to take this anymore, I don't want to have to repeating the same pattern, there's
Mm,
an invitation to love that person from a distance. You
yes.
can still give someone love, but you don't have to be the one there right with them doing everything for them.
Mm,
You can choose to speak powerfully and lovingly on any level. Hey, I think I've been putting both of us in an impossible situation
mm,
where I've wanted from you what you may not be able to give to me. And
mm,
I'm taking responsibility for my part in that. And I'm going to have to love you from a distance for the time being, for
mm.
the next month, the next 3 months, for the next forever. Like there's
Yeah.
a point in your life where you can at any moment change what you do and get different results by doing something different. And it's one of the hardest things to do. And like,
I was going
it
to
takes a
say,
lot of work.
how do you even get the guts to like have that conversation with someone? Because it's a difficult one.
It's changing literally a lifetime of patterning. It's doing something for the first time that you've never done before, that maybe when you were little you couldn't have done because it wasn't safe, because you depended on that person for your livelihood, your life. And it can
Mm,
feel that intense now. It can
mm,
feel that, oh my God, I'm depending on this person for my livelihood. If they don't affirm my worthiness, if they don't give me love, what am I?
yeah.
And the difference is, you are an adult now. You were a child then. You couldn't do now what you did then. You can do it now.
Mm,
It's a lot to be in this space. It's a lot to speak. It's a lot to be able to say. I really recommend therapy if it feels too scary alone. I recommend a really strong support system. I
mhm.
really recommend building a foundation for yourself of concrete and not quicksand, so
Yeah.
that you can stand in
Mm,
that space of, okay, you may abandon me, you may leave me, I may let you go. And that abandonment wound is sometimes the deepest, where I don't want to be alone. And
yeah.
so first you have to be okay knowing that you're going to be alone. And that's the first step. Because otherwise you'll constantly be clinging to people who you think are your flotation devices, but really they're concrete blocks that are dragging you down, and you're trying to keep both of you afloat.
It's amazing
So
visual.
even noticing this happening,
Yeah.
yeah, it's what so many of us are doing for so long. Again, because it's all we've ever known, and we do the best we can with what we know.
Mm,
And once we know better, we can start to do better for
Yeah.
ourselves and for others. And so, again, just therapy can help, coaching can help, having really insightful friends who deeply know you can be supportive, and
Mm,
just listen to your mirrors.
mm,
Listen, look around and see what's being reflected back to you. And then
mm.
at one point, it's having the courage to listen to your own deepest knowing and trusting that.
Yeah. And you'll always be okay if you do that.
You know,
Yeah.
your life will always rise to support you with whatever you choose.
Mm,
Always.
mm. Now you mentioned, maybe it's about being okay with being alone, and there's a lot of people who are alone out there right now and are finding that really tricky. So, is there
Hmm.
anything you can say to someone who's in that um, uh, in that circumstance that might assist?
Absolutely. Yeah. So a few things, the levels of aloneness.
Mm.
There's aloneness and then there's loneliness. And those are different things.
Yes.
And so the loneliness is feeling like there's something missing. Like
Mm.
I need something, someone else.
Mm.
And the aloneness can be a beautiful space where you can be with you, all of you, and where you can step into the opportunity to get to know even more of you
Mm.
in this space of time, in this space of sometimes discomfort, in this space of what is arising in this moment, in this moment, in this moment,
Mm.
and meeting it, and not trying to avoid the discomfort of, all right, well, it's time to, go into a social media hole, or it's not, to XYZ, it's time to distract myself, because we're all very good at that. But
Yes.
what are we distracting ourselves from? There's always an invitation to, what if I sit in this discomfort, and what is actually coming up? What is arising that's asking to be met? And
Mm.
can I meet that part of me with
Mm.
love, with compassion, with curiosity, as
Mm.
opposed to fear? Can I let myself be with me? And now is a beautiful time to get to know you better. Like all these questions, again, in codependency, there's a let me learn everything about you, and without even knowing much about me, and letting you teach me who I am through who you are. And
Mm.
so in this time and space, especially for those who are alone and who are single, how about you take this time to really deep dive into yourself, to write down a whole list of questions about what I would want to know about someone else, and can I ask them about myself? Who am I?
Right.
And really more deeply understanding and developing love, compassion, care for you in this process.
Mm.
And your relationship with you is the most important relationship you could
Well, it will
have in this
last you the
lifetime.
rest of your life, right?
Absolutely. You're going to be with you forever. So you talk about forever relationships. That's one. And why
That's
not
the
invest
one.
time and energy and love into it?
Mm.
Yeah. So it's a lifelong process. And as long as we have breath, there are going to be more chances to get to know and to love ourselves more deeply. And now is a very unique opportunity to have the chance to do that.
Yeah. So throughout our time together, you have been talking about different practices that people can do. I'm just curious, how do you start the day for yourself, and how do you end the day for yourself?
Hmm. For me, it's really important to start and end with meditation. So, I, if you're open to it, I can lead you in a very brief meditation that's similar to
Sure,
the one that I offer. Okay.
let's do it.
Anyone who's welcome
Let's do it
to
together.
participate.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm going to invite you to sit as comfortably as you possibly can. So, get into a really comfortable position. And as you're ready, gently closing your eyes and beginning to bring your attention to your breath. And as you breathe, begin to soften your face, to relax your shoulders, to notice if there are any areas in your body holding on to any tightness or tension. And if so, sending a breath now to those places. And as you breathe, allowing yourself to be supported by the thousands of miles of earth beneath you. And as you receive the support, inviting in whatever may be in your highest and greatest good, and observing and allowing what arises in this space. And once again, coming back to your breath, allowing yourself a moment of gratitude for taking this time for you to connect and to be with all of you. And closing this practice at your pace with 3 deep breaths.
It's lovely. It's amazing how
Mhm.
quick that can be as well, isn't it?
It really is.
Mm.
It really is. There's always time to come back to your breath and to yourself.
Mm. Beautiful. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with our audience today?
Thank you for being here, for showing up as you are, for letting yourself feel what you feel and to notice what is coming up, and for being open to doing this work to better know yourself and to have more compassion for you and for others, hopefully, as a result.
And if our lovely audience would like to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Bear Ivy, Bareivy. My website is Bareivy, Bareivy.com. Like, bare your soul, bare your vulnerability, bare yourself. Allow yourself to be shown. So Bear Ivy, come find me, Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah.
website.
And she's got some beautiful articles. She does coaching and opens conversation as well. So all sorts there. Thank you for joining us today. It's been beautiful. And I hope to be back in the States again, well, sooner rather than later. Fingers crossed. And we hope to have you over here, because you were due over here pretty soon as well, weren't you?
I was planning a summer visit. Hopefully. Lots of unknowns. Lots of unknowns. And just
We'll
being in
see.
every moment.
All right. Well, take care and lots of love, my dear.
Thank you so much.